Hi everybody, good morning. This is Jean here, Jean Truelove from Truelove Quilts for You. I hope you're all well. This is just going to be a quick video, just as an add-on to one of the last videos I made. If you are watching me, you know that my friend Jen came the other day and we had a laugh, and we ended up talking about the Truelove Quilting Challenge, which is over now. The deadline was March 15th, and again, I have some other quilts to share with you, but not today. What I'm doing was, I'm just adding to the one quilt that I apologized for to Jacqueline, who had submitted, or maybe didn't, because of technology, her story with her quilt that I showed. I'm going to be showing you the quilt again, and this is just to dignify Jackie because she works so hard, and I want to read what she had sent me because we showed the quilt. Everybody enjoyed seeing it. It was very bold and it was very graphic, and there was a story behind it, and Jacqueline saw my video and realized that perhaps she hadn't sent it or it didn't go through, and so she sent me the story, and I'd just like to share that with you because everybody works so hard. Now, I think Jacqueline's little story here, if you're new here, this was a quilting challenge. It wasn't a contest. I did 6 months ago. There's a playlist. You can see all of the different quilts that people have challenged themselves to make, using the fabrics that I had chosen. And there are many stories, people having come out of a disaster, or people coming out of a depression or stepping out of their comfort. And that was the whole point, to challenge ourselves, even in these challenging times, to take our minds off of maybe something bad that was happening, or just a diversion. And I believe, I want to share with you Jackie's story, Jacqueline's story, excuse me. She had actually made 2 quilts, and I will explain that. How I think so many of her challenges, challenge 1, 2, 3, she enumerates them for us. How they really, if you really listen, that every single one of us could choose, could say, yeah, that applied to me, or that does apply to me, even if you didn't do the challenge. So I find it very interesting, and I really do want to share Jacqueline's story with my friends out there. So she says, "Dear Jean and Jen, thank you both so much for your kind words and feedback on my quilts. You've boosted my confidence, and I look forward to the future challenges that you both set." I don't know if there's not going to be any future challenges. We shall see. Jen is like, ooh, yeah, go. I did include a story with the original photos, and I'm sorry it did not arrive. I'm not as technically minded as I ought to be with modern technology. Seriously. I will try to add my story again, as it seems too empty without the story behind it. Kind regards, Jacqueline. So her original story was, "Dear Jean, I hope this finds you well. I chose a design I found online, just a photo and no pattern. I'm unsure as to the name of the block. It just called out to me. Challenge 1. This is way over my head. I'm out of my league. I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't have the experience. I'm a full-time carer. Where will I find the time? Challenge 2. Finding the fabrics, though, I quite enjoyed the treasure hunt. Being in the UK, most of the fabric choices can only be brought from the USA. I was pleased as punch to be able to successfully source everything on your list." That was a challenge, because quite a few people all around the world who did this challenge, who follow me, weren't able to find the original fabrics. And yet then we could use our imagination, what they deemed, and that was so exciting. Everybody's personal take. Challenge 3. Figuring out what to do. There were no instructions, measurements, or sizes, just a photo. Challenge 4, cutting the fabrics. I do not see, nor can I cut or draw straight lines. I have become quite adept at using a seam ripper. I took the whole thing apart several times over. It made me cry. It was so frustrating, but I persevered. Wow, that in itself is just so encouraging and inspiring, Jacqueline, for all of us who have had those days when our quilting just doesn't go. I always say step away from the machine. You know, it should be a joy. It should bring pleasure. It made you cry, as some of our projects have. You guys all know that. But you persevered. Wow, that is rising to the challenge, Jacqueline. Challenge 5, the quilting part. I'd never free motion quilted. This was to be my first time. I think I've ruined the design with the quilting style I chose to do. I'm absolutely amateur freehand, but I'm pleased that I did it. That's the most important thing. That's the most important thing, and every stitch is stitched with love. I used all the fabrics you've listed. Imagine my astonishment when the secondary pattern was revealed. Once my blocks were put together, half square triangles were the obvious choice for me because they're small, manageable, and easy to make. Less cutting and shorter straight lines. The background fabric, I was wondering if it was there's a fabric line called, I believe, from Moda called Grunge. I was wondering if it was a grunge, but it's not. It was Free Spirits Electric Elements by Tim Holtz. It's called Alchemy. It has quite a lot of character, dark and light shades, marbled together to help the other colors stand independently. That's what made Jacqueline's quilt pop. The fabrics that I chose, which were odd, to be put with this lovely grayish, blackish background, awesome. Your fabric choices, oh, here it is. Your fabric choices are rather eclectic, quite the opposite to the fabrics I'm attracted to, the combination. I'd go far, personally, no offense. The red and white polka dots were particularly hazardous to work with. My eyes could not settle, and I felt a tad giddy every time I looked at it. I persevered, however, and plowed my way through the haze of the ever-mobile dots. I used other fabrics to cover the parts of the dots that I wasn't working with. This helped tremendously to cut down on the effects. I overcame the dots. Yes, interesting when you're working with dots. I've said this before. You think, oh, it's just a dotted fabric. But in a block, you must remember, if you're working with dots, if you cut off a dot, and you have to step back from it and see how that design has evolved, and it might look a little bit funky. It might be in a seam. It might be next, if it's a white dot, it's next to a white fabric, so you lose the dot. So you think, oh, just a polka dot, just, red and white, black and white dots, easy, super simple. But sometimes you have to be careful, and Jacqueline found that to be a challenge. And obviously, the larger the dot of a fabric, the harder it would be, the more challenging it would be. If your eye goes there, and as many quilters, our eyes do see that, we might see them as mistakes. Other people who are looking at our quilts would hardly even notice them, non-quilters, but we're very critical of our own work. But I understand that. So sometimes with dots, stripes, even plaids, if you're working with a plaid or a gingham fabric, if the block is a little bit skewed, your eye will go to that. Your plaid will be off kilter. So she had that challenge with the dots, but she overcame it. Awesome. The backing of her quilt. I started putting the pieces together, but decided that it was far too pretty to be placed on the back of anything. So I reworked and fashioned it into a secondary quilt. It's a little busy. It is busy. It's like, oh, boom, it's awesome. I'm grateful to you and Jen for setting the challenge and for offering me the opportunity to take part. I look forward to receiving your feedback. It's a shame that you're no longer issuing feedback sheets. I would have loved to have received one. Well, I'm telling you, as I was saying before, everyone deserved an A++. I did stop doing that because who was it in my last video? Somebody was frightened of my judgment. And I'm thinking, I'm not that tough. But I thought, no, I'm not a quilt judge. I just can't do that. So her quilt number 1 is called Bendigo, was 45 inches by 42. And her quilt 2 was Hypnotique, which was 42.5 by 34. I just wanted to share that with you guys, how Jacqueline actually broke down for a lot of us the different challenges to make anything. Now, this quilt that I'm going to show, that I have shown before, was made by copying a photograph, a picture, a quilt in a book or wherever it was, in a magazine, and she actually did it. When you see a quilt that you like, even beginners, you can just break it down. Just try to find the block as Jacqueline did, and then lo and behold, she did the block with half square triangles, and something which is called a secondary pattern emerged. That's the beauty of it. Or you just change a block, or you twist the block, or you line up different blocks. Quilting, as you know, most of quilting starts out with simple blocks. A complicated quilt could have 40 pieces in a block. A simple one could be a 4-patch, or just two pieces of fabric sewn together, but then put together in the world of quilts. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. The ones that you saw the video before with Jen and I, Jacqueline's quilt, but here is Jacqueline's quilt in all of its glory. So keep in mind the challenges that Jacqueline had and how she overcame them. Thank you so very much for sending me your story and how you overcame your challenges. Good job, awesome. And so many of us now can actually think, yeah, I'm a carer, I don't have the time. I don't like those fabrics, but wow, to step outside of our comfort zone. And that's what this challenge did. Quite a lot of you said those exact words. It made me step out of my comfort zone. And that's not a bad thing. Sometimes we're stuck in a rut. We do the same thing. I always say I'm a one-trick pony, but even me, I sort of challenge myself with the fabrics, making my zebra, which is cute. I love it. So many of us who have embarked on this challenge, I think find it a real accomplishment, sense of accomplishment. So I do have a few more coming up that were submitted to me before the 15th, and all in all, it's been a wonderful experience for Jen and I. She's all on board, like, ooh, do another one. I will see. I have to finish my other quilt. There's some things going on in my life that I'll share with you in a little while. But for now, just for today, I just wanted to share Jacqueline's story with you. And I was sorry that it hadn't come through. But again, I hope you've enjoyed her quilt and all of the others ones. See my playlist, and if you have time on a rainy afternoon, you can just go by, fast forward me talking, and just look at the beautiful quilts that have been submitted in this challenge. That 90% of them using the challenge fabrics that I had chosen. The 6, I had to use 5 of them, and then any other fabrics. And the different things that people come up with. Wow, I think it's awesome. So thank you again, folks. Keep on quilting. Most importantly, keep safe. And as always, love from the Trueloves. See you later. Bye-bye.